Okay, this is the newest software currently available, and I was using an external mouse, and most ideally I think that you should use a wet piece of tissue to go between the straps and the client. This way the straps can conduct through the wet tissue, and yet the straps don't tend to get dirty that way. And then when we go to the client information, I always, unless there's some other drastic change, that basically, and you can save time this way as well. This will ask if the client has made any attempts to change his or her lifestyle. Normally I just say no, and then it'll keep the information in the SOC index. And yes, this is used for biofeedback uses. And so that way you don't have to refill out the SOC. And so the biorhythms are very similar to the older softwares. I was like here, I like to go to the medical astrology and add the information to the report. When you add the information to the report, it helps the rectification at the end with more information. And we stimulate the awareness of possible risks. And so I'm going to just go through a couple of things that I normally do. And of course, you'll have to calibrate. And the newer software, I think the calibration seems to be a little bit longer than the older software. That may be an individual case-by-case situation though. And we have the Tibetan bowls in the background, as well as a subliminal tape to help develop psychic powers. So in the newer software, apparently I'm not sure exactly how to decipher this green box here, but apparently it's reading something off of each of the straps. So it's pulling a reading off of each of the straps and each electrode on the headband. And so I also do laptop repairs, and so if you're interested, you can get a hold of me at laptopsrepaired@yahoo.com. And if you need any advice on general software, I can help you with that if you think. Just give me a call, 707-445-1591. Okay, I've got a 1.5 GB RAM on this computer. I don't know if it's naturally sort of slow on the draw or not, but I'm gonna bump it up here pretty quick. Anyway, I've got Windows 7 on it, and it seems to be working fine with a 1.5 GB of RAM. It's got like a 250 gig hard drive. And it's a dual core Dell. Nothing fancy. It's got actually a pretty small screen, so it's asking me if I wanted to leave to proceed to test. Yes. So I'm not going to test right now, but it's always good to do a test if the client or you haven't been on the device for a week or so. And so this is, let's see, in the regular software, this is going to show, this is an EMG. So the green is the amperage. The green bar is the amperage. The red bar is the voltage. The yellow is the resistance. The blue is the hydration. So I can't really figure out why the hydration is fluctuating so much. The oxygenation is the white. And the gray is the phase aberration. So this is your traditional biofeedback parameters and graphs. And theoretically you could ask the client to do some stress reduction visualization to improve the graphicon here. And so anyway, I just wanted to show you that. It's not something I normally go into, but of course pretty much everyone's favorite is the risk profile. And so I normally go into risk profile, and then I'm going to keep the last data from the last test. And so all we want to do is pull up some top items. We've got amoeba coming up pretty high. Amoeba is highest. And probably for people who eat a lot of raw food, that would probably come up high. I've been taking some essential oils like cloves and thyme to kill parasites. I found one of the easiest ways for me to help reduce the risk of parasites. So I don't recommend garlic, simply because Dr. Bob Beck has found that it kills brain cells, and found that some brain waves tend to have some, well, basically go flat when garlic is consumed. So I would prefer to use some other form of parasitic herbs, parasitic reduction herbs. Okay, so we basically picked the top 3 or whatever you feel is most important, and then you just click the de-stress here on the top. And I like to go into the perverse energy and check on some of the high things we got here. It's 101 megahertz to 550 or to 500 megahertz. That's probably going to be computer stuff, so I just spent a couple of hours on the computer, and then of course we're back on the computer again. And so we just test the items, click on whatever's highest, over 100. We have some neutrinos came up pretty high. Anyway, you can save the info to the report, and I always recommend saving info. And the next one I like to do is the virtual DR, and on this one it has one button for everything, and so it's pretty easy to operate. And so here we have the de-stress all. So I was de-stress all. And then from here you can actually activate the body viewer or the iridology. So let's go ahead and activate the body viewer from here. Usually before I do the test, or after I do the test, I'll adjust the SCIO power settings. And so what we're going to do is unconscious selection of sacred geometry. And this seems to work pretty good. I can just close it. And I always make a report of all the pages most of the time to help with the rectification at the end. So the next one you could go, now you can go to homotoxicology here, or you can close down and then go from the program drop downs. I tend to close any extra pages, and if I can go to the program in the drop downs, and so let's see, it should be here. Now this screen is a smaller screen, so I have the arrow down here on the bottom, and if I click on it then more stuff will come up. And so apparently I don't see the homotoxicology from here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to risk profile and then go to homotoxicology. So the homotoxicology is environmental toxins. And info, click first so we can get information on here. And basically what I do is into xenobiotics, and I always de-stress the top 5 items. It's pretty simple to do. And so here we're showing beauty shop toxins. I'm not sure why that's coming up high. It could have something to do with the chemicals I use when I do repairs sometimes. And so we have asbestos coming up 125. Could be from the road that I live near. A lot of cars going by and stop and go driving. So we got 138 is industrial pollution. It comes up fairly high. And so we have alcohol is coming, or aldehyde. This came up 121. I've been making my own brew, so that could be the reason why that's coming up. So you can see that it's working here because there's a lot that's coming up. We have insecticides 112. We have halogens 111, and that could be fluoride. Fluoride is a halogen, and chlorine as well as a halogen. And so I'm going to close out of that. And I usually take the close button on the far bottom of the page, or thereabouts. And so we're going to close this. And then we're going to go into power settings. Lately I've been turning the power up to at least double or maximum. And I always activate the quantum indeterminacy field. And standard Levi protocol here, basically. Scalar boost. And let's see. I kind of got out of the shield for remote viewing, but I'm going to run it now. That was probably a wiser idea. Now here is on the right hand top side. Here's where you can activate the big biofeedback interface graphics. And I'm not going to do that just because I'm just not into it right now, but I have it, and I had to reload it because some of the videos didn't come out. But anyway, back to the power settings, and we're going to pretty much close that out for now. And the acupuncture is always a good one to do, and then I've been going back to the body and face scan a lot lately, just to get a little bit different kind of perspective on the analytical point of nutritional profiles and etc. And a lot of people are interested to see the aura cleansing program, and usually what I'll do is after the session, going through the various things I've gone through here, I'll go through the aura program and let the client watch. So we always aura cleanse notions, and then basically you're going to de-stress the foci. So you can see the chakras here are sort of out of alignment. One is a little bit bigger than the other. So we want to try and get these sort of all in alignment. And we have the purple circle up here in the top left.
Excellent.
Which basically means there's another entity or entity influence in my aura. And so basically we just keep clicking the T button here and until we get the chakras all lined up. And so I'm going to close out of this one for now. And so the next one I like to do is kind of at the end of the sessions. Doesn't really matter when you do it. And so what I wanted to try and do is, okay, so I have to have a small screen on this one, so I have to click on the bottom to pull the rest of the info up. So basically we're going to go to time, no, I didn't want to go there, sorry. And so we're back here. What I wanted to try and do is go to now the voice stress test I've gone over before. Okay, so it won't let me do the quick therapy for muscle relaxation, muscle education for athletes. That's where I like to go. Apparently it probably won't come up because I didn't do the test. So basically, short session. I'm gonna show you how I close the session basically. And when I have lots of time, basically I check for current rectifications. And I go down here to the bottom, super biofeedback electrical rectification. And so there's a little disclaimer here. And so basically the SCIO rectification box will come up. Then you'll have to click here to start rectification. And then I just run the rectification for as long as I can. As long as time allows. So thanks for watching and I appreciate it. And if you want, you can get a hold of me. laptopsrepaired@yahoo.com. Thanks for watching.